Gaza civil defence teams say they've recovered 17 more bodies from mass graves found on the grounds of Nasser Hospital in Khan Younis. Witnesses say some of the victims were killed during the Israeli siege on the hospital. 310 bodies have been found so far. Zainah Haroun is spokeswoman for Al-Haq. That's an independent Palestinian rights organisation based in the occupied West Bank. And she joins us now from Ramallah. Good to have you with us. What, first of all, can you tell us about these mass graves? Who is buried in them and when perhaps were they buried?
Thank you very much for having me. The discovery of these mass graves in Nasser Hospital, and before that, mass graves which were discovered in al-Shifa Hospital, are stark evidence of war crimes and, of course, the genocide which is being perpetrated against the Palestinian people in Gaza by Israel, a genocide which has now been ongoing for 200 days. Initial reports from Nasser Hospital show that some of the bodies of the killed people had their hands tied behind their back, and some of the bodies were women and Palestinian people who were elderly as well. And the key thing from what you asked there is, what can we tell you? The issue that we have at the moment in Gaza is access to the site, and not just for organizations like us, Al-Haq, other independent human rights organizations, or people who should be investigating these mass atrocities that we're seeing. Instead, we're mainly seeing families of the deceased, or families desperately looking for other members of their families, of their loved ones, often using their bare hands to dig into these mass graves and try and find just a trace of those people. So access is the key thing here. Some of the testimonies that we did manage to gather from al-Shifa Hospital, not from Nasser Hospital, showed that one family member was desperately trying to find just a trace of his uncle. He said that he found his sandals, but even if he could find a body part, an arm or a leg, that they could at least take that and bury him so they're able to sleep at night. That's what he told us, which shows how dire the situation is on the ground. Most of the information that we're getting at the moment is from incredibly brave Palestinian journalists who are reporting these horrific atrocities on the ground and are also being targeted by Israel. But what we need and we're demanding for is a proper forensic investigation, and we need a proper investigative mechanism, whether that's the UN Commission of Inquiry, and of course, in addition to the Office for the Prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, to have full and unrestricted access to the Gaza Strip as a whole, and of course, sites such as these mass graves that we've seen.
Without such an independent investigation, can the discovery of these mass graves be added in any way to the case of genocide against Israel?
Of course, as I said before, these are stark examples that a genocide is being committed. And one of the key things that we need to address is that the alarm that genocide is being committed against the Palestinian people in Gaza has well and truly been sounded a long time ago by human rights experts, by genocide experts, and in January, the World Court, the International Court of Justice, said that genocide is plausibly being committed in Gaza. This means that there are very clear and serious obligations on states who have ratified the Genocide Convention to use every single means possible to prevent and protect the population from the crime of genocide. Unfortunately, what we're seeing is the opposite. We're seeing many third states, including the UK, Germany, and of course the United States, actually continue to supply Israel with arms as it commits these atrocity crimes.
What evidence is there that Israel was responsible for the deaths and the burying of these people that are being found in the mass graves?
Right now, the main thing that we can rely on is eyewitness testimonies. At al-Shifa, a lot of people said that they saw the people who survived the siege of al-Shifa Hospital, which lasted 2 weeks, said that people were executed during that siege. Right now, if we have that independent investigation, if we actually have access to the site, we can do a full investigation into what happened.
Given that there is no access to Gaza at the moment, what is the next thing that needs to happen right now? Right
now, we demand an immediate end to the ongoing genocide, and Israel, as the International Court of Justice ordered, needs to unconditionally allow aid, fuel and water and medical supplies into the site. And there is enough evidence from what we're seeing on the ground, from what's being documented by journalists and from eyewitness testimonies, and enough evidence given and presented at the International Court of Justice for third states who ratified the Genocide Convention to stop their complicity, to end their complicity in Israel's ongoing genocide in Gaza, and to stop providing Israel with arms and military support.
OK, Zainah Haroun from Al-Haq, that's an independent Palestinian rights organisation. Many thanks for taking the time to join us here on Al Jazeera.
Thank you very much.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.